everyone, welcome to Triple Threat Gaming Guru. In today's video, I've had a lot of people ask me lately how to build decks or what are good decks to build. So there's a website called Limitless TCG, which is they kind of track all the different tournaments that are happening and track which decks are winning and losing, that kind of stuff. So this is a good place to come look for some top tier decks. Or even if maybe you had a specific card that you have and you wanted to build a deck around that, you can search what is going or what decks are being built around that card. So come up here, search decks, and we'll search Arceus. So we want to search the Arceus V-Star, not the Dialga and Palkia one. So these are the different decks and how they kind of placed in the different tournaments. So a big one right now that people have been playing is Arceus Inteleon. There's an Arceus Urshifu. Some Arceus Inteleons with the Dark Moltres in it. And so this was the Liverpool tournament. If we want, we can just look at what won the Liverpool tournament, and that way you can kind of see. So Mew VMAX took third. So you can see kind of all the different rankings and see what's doing well. Now this set kind of just came, the Brilliant Star set just came out not long before this. So a lot of these decks aren't as high up just because they haven't been tested as much. Let's go back and we'll check out this one. So we've got some Jolteon, Inteleon, Mew, Arceus Inteleon. I've seen a few people use the Arceus Inteleon deck. So let's click on that one. So we just go over to list and it'll show you what cards this person has in the deck. So they have 4 Arceus V, 3 Arceus V-Star, 4 Sobble, 4 Drizzile, and then 1 of each of the Inteleons, a Dunsparce. And what the Dunsparce does is it gets rid of Arceus' weakness to fighting. So any normal type Pokemon, as long as this Dunsparce is on the bench, has no weakness. And then a Galarian Zigzagoon. You do 10 damage. Not exactly a favorite card of mine. I just think there's better things you can add, but a lot of people like them. Some Professor's Research, Marnie's, Boss's Order, Sharon's Care. So put one of your colorless Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and all attached cards back into your hand. So it's basically a scoop up net for colorless. But say Arceus is 1 turn away from getting knocked out. Alright, you can scoop it up and put it back out. This Evolution Incense will be going away here soon once the World's Tournament happens and they kind of do the shift over with the new old sets kind of being phased out. I forget exactly which one, but it's the first one within the Sword and Shield series. So any card with the D on it will get phased out here soon. And then here's kind of a cost of what it would cost to build if you had to buy every card off of whatever website they partner with. I'm sure it's like TCG Player. Yep. So yeah, based off of TCG Player. So if you were to buy 4 Arceus V's at the $11.98, it's going to cost you roughly the $52 if you have to buy them all. So let's do one where maybe you have a specific card you want to build around. So for one, and this is a deck I worked on online and released a video of it earlier this week. I didn't actually look anything up. Let's see if I spelled that right. So CORV. Now, just because it's not showing up here, just means it's not being used in tournaments. So you can at least look at the cards and get some information on it. It'll tell you whether it's legal in standard, expanded, that kind of stuff. What the popularity of the card is, the market. And again, this site's good for tournaments. So if the card's not being played in tournaments, it's not going to show up on this site. So it's really only good if you're looking for top tier decks. Now, say you wanted to look up a deck specific to Corviknight. A lot of times when I'm searching for deck ideas, I'll just come right onto YouTube and I'll put in a Corviknight VMAX deck. So then I'll watch what are some other people doing with it. So there's tons of videos on different Corviknight decks. So I'll watch them and then I'll go get my ideas on what I want to do based off of what cards do I have in real life. Alright, the other thing is, okay, once you find a deck that you're interested in building, what if I don't have all those cards? Well, come over to TCG Player, and you can we'll just search Corviknight VMAX. So you can find any card you're looking for on this website. Number one thing, search your local game stores first. They need the money more than this website does. And a lot of these sellers are actually local game stores that are just trying to sell some of their extra stuff or have a extra source of revenue but TCG Player does take a commission for the sale. So if you can just go to the local game store, do it. Support your local businesses. A lot of times those game stores will have Pokemon card nights, so then you can ask about those as well and get some battles in, that kind of stuff. So I've done a few videos where I've priced out different decks like the Kyogre and the Malamar using TCG Player. So this is always a good website. There's a few Facebook groups out there. You just have to be careful because you're not protected from scammers, which does happen. It's sad, but at least on here, the website backs you up. If the seller doesn't come through, you can go after them through the website, and the website will basically go after them to get your money back, or at least kick them off the website so that they can't scam anybody else. So there's other good resources out there with the new set coming out here in May, Astro Radiance. I've found this Poké Guardian website, and I'll put the link down below. It'll say it has a list of the cards and what their English translation is. So you can start looking through and going, okay, that card's going to be good for this deck, or so on and so forth. And start looking at, okay, what do I want to try and get? And eventually I think I'll do a video here and I'll go through the cards and I'll talk about, alright, what's good, what's not so good, what can be used, what kind of decks have I seen that I think these cards could help improve on, or what cards I've seen that could pair well with some of these new cards. There's a few trainers that I've seen so far that look really good, but I haven't gone through and studied it in an insane amount yet because it hasn't been released yet. We're at least a month away now, just under a month I think, or maybe a little over. I think it comes out on May 26th or something like that. Sometime mid to late May is when it'll come out. So here's some different sources for cards, places to look. And now I'm going to switch over to Pokemon Online, and I'll show you kind of what I do when I'm building a deck. And this would apply to both real life and online. The only difference is instead of doing it online, I'm spreading cards out over a table. So I'll see you online here. Alright, we are here on the Pokemon Online app. So create a new deck. So you can choose the type you're wanting, and it'll only select those cards. So if you want just a standard deck, so that's going to only show you cards that are played in standard. Expanded, only show you the cards in expanded, so on and so forth. You know, import a deck list that you've copied to your clipboard. So say you want to build a deck from the TCG or the Limitless TCG. You exported that deck list. Now you can import it into the Pokemon trading card game online I've never done it myself because half the time I'm not going to have the cards on here, so I have to make my own variation of that deck if I'm wanting to, or I gotta go find those cards. But it's still a nice way to go, okay, I want to build this deck online. Oh, where do I get the cards, or what cards do I still need? And it's a good way because now I can go on and it'll gray out the cards that I don't have, which I'll show you. The other thing is you can do Deck Wizard, which we'll just do a quick test. And what it'll do is it'll make a deck for you based off of your 2 favorite cards. So we'll just choose the 2 Aggron, the Aggron V and Aggron V Max. Just for the fun of it, and let's see what it comes up with. And it's gonna do the 20, 20, and 20, so you get 20 energy, 20 trainers, 20 Pokemon. It might build you a decent deck for, a kid that's starting out, but to be honest, I don't see this deck doing much of anything. So let's cancel out of that. So we'll just create our own. So we're gonna do standard. And I've done a few different versions or a few videos in the past that I haven't edited. Things just didn't work out. So we're gonna kind of recreate that deck. So I'm searching for grass Pokemon. And I've got something specific in mind. So these are all the grass Pokemon I have. It'll tell you that your number is down here. So for this particular deck, it's one that I've built in the past, so I know. So I'm gonna kind of rebuild it to show you what I do. It may not be the exact same thing as what I've do have on here and play, but I'm just kind of going through and I'm selecting different Pokemon. Oh, we got 2 Leafy Envy Stars now. So we'll add both of those. We'll add both these Vs. And just downloaded the code to get a second set someone had given me. So the cards I'm looking for are basing this deck off of Torterra. So when Brilliant Stars came out, I did the pre-release at the local game store, and I noticed Grotile's ability and Torterra's attack, and I really liked those, so I decided to build a deck around it. I don't have enough of this specific version. This is the one I want. So I do want to show you one thing while I'm thinking of it. Say you're looking at actually building a specific deck and you don't have the right number of cards, and you want to bring this one up and put a second one of this Leafeon V in, and a extra VMAX. Well, it's going to gray out the card, and it won't let you play the deck, but this way you can export the deck list. Say you're trying to build this deck in real life, or you just want, like, you've got an idea while you're out and about or whatever, and you want to be able to bring a list of cards to the game store that you need, so you know, alright, these are the specific cards that I'm looking for. You can do that. Now, in the end, I'm not going to need these ones. So now we'll just search trainers and energy. Right away, I know that I need grass energy. And based off of the fact that we'll look at the Pokemon, Leafeon V-Star, Leafeon V-Max, and the two Leafeons all need 3 energy to do their attacks. So, say I get 2 of them out, that's 6 energy that I need. Alright. Torterra. To do its Evo Press, I need 2 energy. And if I want to try and go for his hammer in, I need 4. In the end, I'm not going to be using hammer in very much. The deck is built around this Evo Press. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it hurts me. But I already know what I'm looking for. So we need at least 6 energy for the 2 Leafeons. And if we get 4 Torterras out, at another 2 energy. So 6 plus 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That brings us up to 14 energy to power up all the Pokemon. So that's kind of a good base number to go off of, unless you're building like a Mew VMAX deck or something really specific where you don't want a lot of energy. So we'll just add in a couple extras here, bring it up to 16. And then I go and I just start looking through all the trainer cards. Adventurer's Discovery is a good one if you're building decks around V Pokemon. I'm not. Are there some Vs? Yes, there are. Bede is a good way to get energy, extra energy out of your hand to one of your benched Pokemon. So Bede could be a useful card. Big Charm's a nice one to add 30 HP. I'm not seeing it in this deck, so I'm not going to add it. Boss's Order is always a nice card because, you know, I could get Torterra out and have a full bench of evolutions and be able to do 250 damage, and they got out a little basic Pokemon while they're trying to power up their V or VMAX. I'm going to bring that V out or VMAX out with Boss's Order and one-hit KO it with my Torterra. And for now, I'm just putting them up there. I don't care on the numbers, I'm just putting them up there. Now, if I'm building this deck in real life, I do the exact same thing, just on a kitchen table or one of the tables at one of the game stores I go to, and I'll just lay cards out. And I'll just start putting 4 of each trainer card down that I think I'm going to use. And then I work on removing cards from there. Choice Belt's always a decent one. Good for adding extra damage. Cook is nice for healing, but you can only heal your active. I've made that mistake a few times where it's like I've tried healing bench Pokemon, but it doesn't work. Cynthia's Ambition is nice. Being able to draw 8 cards if, especially early games, say you have to put a Turtwig out because it's your only basic. Well, now you can kind of sacrifice it but draw 8 cards. Or up to 8 cards. Energy Recycle is always nice. Energy Retrieval to get energies from your discard pile into your hand are good. Energy Search is a good card. Evolution Incense is a really good card for being able to evolve into a Growtile. Once you've got a Growtile on to your bench, that's where this deck will really shine. Not always a big fan of these draw 3 cards. You're really limited to them. Not saying that they're not useful cards and they're not good cards. There's just a lot better out there. Gloria, search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon that don't have a rule box and choose one of them. So basically you get to search for any of your non-V basic Pokemon. In this deck, it could really set you up good. Judge is a good card. It's going to be replacing Marnie as Marnie gets phased out with the D cards getting replaced. And in real life, I've got a lot of the Judges in the decks instead of Marnie just because, 1, Judge is easier to find. 2, if I'm looking and buying a bunch of cards online, it's cheaper and it's easier to find people who have multiples of them, like 10 or 15 of them, versus the Marnies, which most people don't. Clara is a really good card because you can get up to 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energies back into your hand from your discard pile. So you can bring back a Turtwig and a Growtile, or the Leafeon and Leafeon VMAX or V-Star. Level Ball, it's good in decks like Malamar, or where you have Cinchinos, because they're both, Minchino and Cinchino are both 90 HP or less. In this deck, the only thing it would get us is some Turtwig. Marnie's Pride is good for getting energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Again, the weakness is it only puts it on your benched Pokemon. But depending on the Pokemon, that's a good thing. And then you always have your Marnies. Ordinary Rod is also a good card, specifically because it's an item card. You can use multiples of it to get a lot of Pokemon and energy. The downside against it over Clara is they go into your deck and not into your hand. This Phoebe is a decent card. During this turn, damage from your Pokemon's VMAX attack isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So that basically means their VMAX can't attack you. I haven't really used it in anything yet, but I've seen it used. So we'll kind of put it in there and we'll kind of play around with it and see if it's worth keeping or not. Quick Ball, a staple. Every deck should have 4 Quick Balls. There's no question about it. 4 Quick Balls should be in almost every single deck, because it's a good way to get your basic Pokemon out. Raihan is a nice card. Say your Pokemon's knocked out on that last turn, you get to move an energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, any Pokemon, and then search your deck for a card. So you can find any card that you need. So it's a very useful card to help recover. Roseanne's backup, I don't think is useful in this deck, but it's an awesome trainer. Choose one or more, so you can shuffle a Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck, a tool card, a stadium card, and a energy card. You can do all 4 of those. So it's a very versatile card. Sonia can be nice to get some basic Pokemon or energy, and that's what I like with it, because I can use it. Oh, I don't have any Pokemon on the bench, or I need a specific basic Pokemon, I can get it out onto the bench. Oh, I don't have energies, I can get energies. And Switch. Switch belongs in everything. It's such a useful card. Training Court can be very useful. And Ultra Ball can be very useful. Alright. So, right now we've got 54 cards in this deck. Now is the time to go, alright, these are the trainers that I think could be useful in the deck. Which ones do I need more of? Which ones do I not need at all? Evolution Incense, I'm going to bump up to 2. The reason being is if I need to get a Grotile out onto the bench, I can do that. And the reason I want to get the Grotiles out is because of its ability. Sundrent Shell. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass Pokemon. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So with that Grotile being out onto my bench, I can do anything I need. So after that, an Evolution Incense becomes practically worthless to me. The Quick Ball becomes practically worthless to me. But I needed to try and get some Turtwigs out, because there have been many battles I've lost with this deck simply because I couldn't find a Turtwig. And you know what? Even because I can use that ability, well, I can search for the Turtwig using the Quick Ball and then use the ability to search for Grotile. Now I can evolve that Grotile the next turn. Next turn, I can use that ability twice. I get out another Grotile and Turtwig, I can use that ability 3 times, and then 4 times. So it's a great way to build up the deck. An energy recycler is always a nice card. I don't know if I would need more than one. Energy retrieval, also a nice card. I don't see needing more than one or two of them. For now, we'll put two in. But we're at almost at our 60 cards, so it may end up coming out. I don't know. With a deck like this, I want to have at least 2 energy searches in it. Yes, we know we're over 60. Switches are very nice because you can get any basic, or switch your Pokemon around without having to pay the retreat cost. And in this deck, that could be huge. Ultra Ball, somewhat useful, but I don't know if it's quite useful in this deck. We'll put 2 in for now. If we need to, we'll remove some. But it's out of the cards that we're going to probably remove, that's definitely a higher one on the list. Bede, it's nice to be able to attach 2 energy per turn. I haven't really used it in my playing around on this deck, so I'm going to remove it just because, one, none of the Pokemon need a high amount of energy except for the Leafeons. And there's an alternative way to get energy onto Leafeon using its ability. So Greening Cells, bring it up so you can see. So this Leafeon V, its ability Greening Cells. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a basic grass energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. So you could potentially attach 2 energies per turn. The only downside is that ends my turn, because the ability says so. So we'll get back to trainers. Cynthia's Ambition, we don't need a huge amount of draw with this deck because our draw is coming from Grotile. Gloria, other than being able to get Turtwig out, it doesn't really need to be there. I like to do 2. No, I only have 1 judge. Alright. Boss's Order, I like to do 2. Judge, or Marnie, I like to do 2 of if I can in decks, just because it's a nice way to throw your opponent off. And say you're struggling to get the cards that you need, it gives you a way to shuffle maybe the cards that you have in your deck or in your hand that you need later back into the deck for play later. But you really need that 1 card now, and you're trying. Training Court lets you put energies from your discard pile back into your hand. It's useful. Gordy lets you search the top 7 cards, 6 or 7 cards of your hand, or of your deck, and put any energy you find there into your hand. So useful if you need energies. So I like to keep a Gordy in. Marnie's Pride is a little more useful than Bede is, just because, okay, now I can get some energies back out of the discard pile. This Phoebe, it can have its use, but I'm going to take it out in this deck. Choice Belt I'll take out. Sonia, I want 2 of. Raihan. It's useful, but we'll take that out too, just because we're limited. And we'll bring that down to 15 energy. So it's not a bad looking deck. It's definitely different than the one I've been playing with. But for now, we'll save it. And we'll call it Torterra. And deck build. Because I built this deck specifically for this video. After this, I'll probably delete it just because I've got the version that I already play. So what I like to do is come over here and test the deck out. I'm not battling a strong trainer. This is my way of testing out, okay, what's the draw like on the deck? Am I mulliganing a lot like I just did here? How easy is it to get the specific Pokemon I'm looking for out? So it says I took 2 mulligans before I drew a basic Pokemon. That is very common with a deck like this, because I've only got 6 basic Pokemon in it. So we'll attach an energy. I always like to save my items like this until I actually need them, just in case I get Marnied or something, because I have done many battles where I've used an item to get a Pokemon set up for next turn and didn't get to actually play it because they Marnied me. Alright, now we'll bring out Grotile. So you'll see here what's actually useful on this deck, and that's its ability. So I've got a couple strategies here, where I'll either keep bringing out Turtwig and Grotile to kind of bulk up the Sun-Drenched Shell, or I'll bring out this Leafeon and evolve it into the Leafeon V-Star or V-Max. In this round, I think we will go for the Leafeon, and I'll show you why. Attach an energy here. He still can't attack yet. He needs 3 energy. Greening cells. I'm not able to attack this turn anyways, so I'll at least use Greening cells to get a grass energy onto Grotile. And now he can attack next turn. Sun-Drenched Shell. Now I'm going to focus on getting Turtwigs and Grotile. See, the one downside to this deck is it takes a while to build up. And now I can use Razor Leaf for 50 damage. And we got another Turtwig. Good. So watch this. Sun-Drenched Shell. Second Grotile. Sun-Drenched Shell. Again. Now I can either set up for next turn, or I can bring out another Turtwig. I'm gonna bring out another Turtwig. Again, just in case I'm Marnied or something. Now I have all 4 of my Turtwigs out. and evolved. So I'm going to evolve this Growtile to Torterra to be able to do some damage. It does 50 damage for each evolution Pokemon in play. This turn, 50, 100. Next turn, it'll do 50, 100, 150, 200, and potentially 300. So what'll happen is I'll use Sun-Drenched Shell to find Growtile for each version of these Turtwig, using the next Turtwig to come out, or not Turtwig, Growtile to come out, and do some major evolution. So you'll see how that's going to come into play here. And we got Gordy, which is perfect. Oh, and we got a second Leafeon V. We're going to play Gordy. Drop 3 energy. That's actually a very good amount of energy. We'll attach one in here. Sun-Drenched Shell. Growtile. Evolve Growtile. Sun-Drenched Shell. Evolve Growtile. Use the final Sun-Drenched Shell to get our Leafeon V-Star out. And we'll evolve the Leafeon. Now we're at 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Next turn we'll be at 300 damage. So I'll be able to use these 3 Growtiles to search for the Torterras and the Leafeon V Max or V Star for this Leafeon. We'll have this Growtile ready. We'll bring out Leafeon V Max. That way I have both versions out ready to go, depending on what happens. In this deck, I prefer the V Star, and I would almost probably remove the V Max. Sun-Drenched Shell. So the only Pokemon left in this deck are a Leafeon V and a V-Star. I don't need the Sun-Drenched Shells anymore. So we'll fully evolve all these Torterras. 300, 600 because of weakness. This is actually a good deck that younger kids can build too, because being able to find this Torterra line is super easy. The Leafeons might be a little bit more challenge, but the line that's important is the Torterra line. You open up a few brilliant star packs and chances are you're going to have them, or someone else is going to have them that you can easily trade for them. And it's a very simple, complicated deck that any kid can learn. And that's what I like about it. I could give this deck to my son and kind of walk him through how it works, because he still can't really read the cards. We're working on that. But, you know, now he'll be able to. Oh, and we have a Marnie's Pride here. So I'm going to show you how that works. Ultra Ball. We're going to discard this energy here. And we'll just discard this one. And we'll use it to search for Leafeon. Because if I had to, I could use Evolution Incense. Bring out Marnie's Pride. And we'll choose a Pokemon to attach that energy to. Energy search. And search for an energy. Evo. Now all three of these Pokemon are the only downside is, say this one gets knocked out, each one does 50 less damage. But they're still strong. So that's kind of my process for building a deck. I'll do a video on where to find, or where best to find some cards for the online play next, via a couple different methods. Obviously the code cards are the easiest, but I'm going to show you some other ways that may not always be looked upon as the best way, but in the world we live in, it's options. So I will see you next time. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow this channel as I keep posting new videos with a focus on helping younger new trainers.